Yeah, it's 9:10 already. So yeah, good evening to everyone once again.
Good
Can
evening,
everyone?
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good
So
evening,
yeah,
sir.
thank you. Like I mentioned earlier, we will not be treating anything new tonight, but
Good evening.
we'll, we'll be taking we'll be taking past questions from transfer pricing. I mean, I went through the past question guide, and I think we have one, two, three, four, five,
Good evening,
six,
sir.
7, 8. We have around 15 questions on transfer pricing only from the past question. So, and I'm sure we've done few of the questions. So I will try to take us through as much as possible this night. So we'll see how questions are treated. And I will not be displaying any solution. So you might get your probably dirty notes or something and get your pen and notes ready because we are going to be discussing these solutions together. So for those I want to just give me a minute, let me set up the questions.
Yes, sir. Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, is there a way you can mute everybody pending when it's time for question? Because people will not just respect themselves and mute themselves. Please just mute everybody pending time for discussion if it's possible. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right, I'll do that.
Please unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, I was not saying anything. I intentionally did that. I was setting the question. Okay, let me just leave it like that. Okay. I don't have to think.
Good evening, sir.
Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry,
good
sir.
evening.
Before you get ready for us
I
before setting the question, please, I have some things to say. Can I go on, please?
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, thank you for taking us, and sincerely, I think this is the first or second time joining the live on Google Meet. I've been using YouTube, and it has been how will I put it? It has been going well and interesting. Thank you for that, sir. But I want to
Oh,
talk about those that they're always joining the Google Meet. The way they didn't allow you to talk most times. Actually, if somebody asks a question, everybody wants to like say something, even when the tutor did not ask them to talk. Please, I joined FR before now, and I love the way, although you have been trying to, sir, the way the man did, he muted everybody until when he set time to ask questions. That is when others can ask questions. And for those that when they'll say they don't see, they don't hear, it's causing distraction. And even if you want to tell the tutor that okay, yes, we can see. Maybe someone said I can't see you, and not, the rest were like we can see, we can see, we can hear, we can hear. It's not if one person or two have said we can see, we can hear. It's okay. Please, let's take note of that. I'm talking to the rest of the class. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. I believe those that are concerned already took note of that. So thank you. Uh, why is this question not here? Sorry, I have a specific question that I want to start with. I'm trying to locate the question. How? I do. Okay. Um, so yeah, someone should confirm when my screen comes up. Uh, what's wrong with this? Oh, okay. Understand. Okay. Is my screen up now? Yeah. uh, okay, nice. Okay. Um, yeah, I like this. November 2024 diet, which I guess that's last diet. I believe we solved a question that is quite similar, but yeah, just like you did, or I don't know if okay, yeah, Emmanuel, just like you did. If you have any specific question on transfer pricing that you would like us to take, um, kindly drop it in the chat box. The diets that you want it to be, and if you're on YouTube, you can also drop it in the chat section. And again, okay. Yeah, where is it?
Yes, your screen is up now.
Why is 5 minutes? Okay, now let's start with Ezeabunafo. I believe everybody can see this question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
To make it easy, I'll do a screenshot and drop on the chat box. Then uh then I will come back to it. This one. Exactly. No, this is it. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and logic 6, 7. Yeah, offset now. Please confirm my screen is okay. Yeah, you should be able to see my screen now.
There's no screen anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I put it up before. It should be up now. Please confirm if my screen is up now.
Not yet.
Not
Yes,
yet.
it's
I
up.
can't see.
Yes.
Up now.
Yeah,
Can
the
see your
screen is
screen.
up.
All right, thank you. So yeah, okay, let me see how best we can do this. Make it faster. Okay. Now let me read the question, and then you already sent the question to the class group, so I think everybody should get the question, even if you are unable to read it from my screen. So the question says, Olascom Nigeria Limited has two operating divisions. We have the Western Division and Eastern Division that are treated as profit centers for the purpose of performance reporting. Now, Western Division makes two products, TOTS and TAL. TOTS is sold to external customers for 310 per unit. Now, you remember our conditions under transfer pricing. Our three conditions remain the same. Is either you don't have external market, or you have an external market, with no production limitation, or you have external markets with production limitation. So for TOTS now, it is obvious that they have external markets. If there is limitation, we don't know yet. We'll come back to that. So they said TAL is a partly finished item that is sold only to Eastern Division. So that means that for TAL, the condition is that there is no external market. So those are the little things that matters when you are getting your solution. So then again, we said the Eastern Division can obtain the parts finished item from either Western Division or from external supplier. The external supplier charges a price of 275 naira per unit, and they are talking about TAL. So that is, Eastern Division can either buy TAL from the Western Division, or he buys it externally for 275 naira per unit. Now, the production capacity of Western Division is measured in total of units of TOT and TAL. Each unit requires the same direct labor time. The cost of production in Western Division are as follows. Now, they did not mention that we have any limitation here. But of course, there's an implied limitation since they mentioned direct labor. The two of them uses the same direct labor time. So if you are using the same direct labor time and we have two products, TOT and TAL, of course, there will always be a decision as to which of the products are we to produce. You can only produce one at a time. So if TOT is more profitable, oh, I will go for TOT. But if TAL is more profitable, I will go for TAL and forgo TOT. So that's the direct labor time will now be our limitation. So I think our conditions are now complete. For TOT, there's external market with production limitation. While for TAL, there is no external market, but we also have a production limitation. So we have the table here, and now they said, what is an optimal transfer price? And the question is not asking you to calculate anything here. It just said, what is an optimal transfer price? So if you go back to first material, I don't like to be going back and forth to look at everybody, but think carry on. Okay, so the question is just asking us to define what an optimal transfer price is. So, and it's the same thing like I mentioned in my first class on transfer pricing. You can also call it ideal transfer price, you can call it optimum transfer price, you can call it best transfer price, whatsoever the English is. So we are to define this. If I'm correct with my English, I want to quote it word for word, but I don't think I will be able to. But an optimal transfer price is the price that both division, that is in this case, Western and Eastern division, would be willing to transact because it is in the best interest of the buying and selling division, and at the same time, it is in the best interest of the company. So, and there is your 4 marks. So you have to explain what optimal transfer price is. If you calculate anything here, of course, you just throw away the free 4 marks. So for better understanding or for better explanation, you can always consult that notes. So the big question now says what will be the optimal transfer price if for TAL, if there is a spare production capacity in the Western division? Now, I told you that earlier in the question, they did not give us a limiting factor. But I mentioned that there is an implied limiting factor, which is going to be this direct labor time. But now, the B part says, what should be the optimal transfer price if there is spare capacity? That is, there is no production limitation. Oh, sorry. Okay. There is no production limitation. Now, if there is no production limitation, quick question. Just drop it in the chat box. When there is no external market and there is no production limitation, what is usually our ideal transfer price? What do we call our ideal transfer price in cases like that? Market price, variable costs. Market price, variable costs. Oh, you can't see my screen on YouTube. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me reshare my screen. Oh, can't see my screen. Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to set between. Okay, exactly now. So apologies, I was not checking YouTube. Okay, I've seen your answers, but so far, no one is correct. Now, when there is no market price, I mentioned. Okay, sorry. So I mentioned that when there is no external market price, when there's no external market, yeah, ideally our transfer price should be our variable cost. but the answer is not really our variable cost. The answer is a negotiated transfer price. We negotiate it. If you check the material, the ideal transfer price should be negotiated when you don't have sorry, what is this? When you don't have an external market. But of course, you cannot treat lower than your variable cost. Just like I mentioned, your variable cost should always be the lowest price that you should be willing to offer as the selling division. Why your what do we call it? While the purchase price available to the buying division is the maximum. So, but for here, since TAL has spare production capacity, that is, you can produce as much as possible of TOT that you want and still produce as much as possible of TAL. So, in this case, the ideal transfer price should be negotiated, but the minimum transfer price, that is the optimal transfer, the minimum optimal transfer price to charge is going to be the variable cost, which is how much? 240 naira. And that goes your format again. So, but you are going to explain to them that you are picking the 240 naira, which is a variable cost, as the optimal transfer price, because there is no external market for TAL, and TAL has spare production capacity. So there is no external market price for TAL to compare with. That is, there is no opportunity cost to lose. I mean, if you don't sell it to the Eastern Division, you have nobody to sell it to. So there's no point making profit on the trade. So that's 8 marks down for us. And somebody asked a question on why labor hours is the limiting factor. Now just take a look at the question. One thing I want you to know is that either directly or indirectly, each question comes with a limiting factor when it comes to transfer pricing. Something will be our limitation. So in this case, if you read through the question, they did not mention anything about demand, which usually stands as our limiting factor before. But they did not mention demand. But they said each unit requires the same direct labor time, that is for TOT and TAL. Now, let's paint this scenario. You have unlimited time to produce two different products. You can either produce apple or you produce ball. But it is this same you that wants to produce both. There is no way you'll be able to produce the two to the maximum simply because you are the only one. So it's either you produce more of ball or you produce more of apple. So if you are producing more of apple, it means that you'll be producing lesser of ball simply because of the labor time that you have. Even though you have unlimited time, but at the end of the day, you can still not produce both at the same time. So that's why I said the direct labor time is the implied limiting factor here. And just if you come down to see here, you see that it's mentioned that there is spare production capacity. In that case, you have unlimited direct labor time. You can produce as much as you want in this case. But the C is now saying that what will be the optimal transfer price for TAL if Western Division is operating at full capacity due to a limited availability of direct labor and there is unsatisfied external demand for TOT. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So they now said, oh, the optimal transfer price now for TAL. Remember, TAL is only transferred to the Eastern Division and not to any external market. But TOT right here is also only transferred to the external market and not to the Eastern Division. They don't buy TOT, they only buy TAL. Why TAL is sent to the Eastern Division, but no external market. Now, the Eastern Division wants to buy TAL. the external market also wants to buy thoughts. You can only produce one of the two with the labor hour that you have. Now you ask yourself, if I produce tal, will I gain more, or should I produce tal, or should I produce what do we call it, thoughts? So that is where the question comes in for the Western Division manager. And how do we now know which of our products to produce? Just the basic what do we call it? The basic cost accounting. How do we determine the products to produce? You know, when we're doing all this cost allocation, product ranking, well, what's the name of this topic again? We still come across this in PM again. Sorry, I forgot the name of the topic. But we rank based on contribution. Of course, we produce the ones that will give us the better contribution. Now, looking at the two products that we have here, we have thought that we can produce at 230 and sell it externally for 310 naira per unit. And there is tal that we can produce at 240, and the maximum that this guy will be willing to pay. You remember, we said the maximum that the buying division should be willing to pay will be the price it can get it from an external supplier, 275. So we have this thought cost us 230, but we have a selling price of 310. If you subtract that, the sales minus variable cost, which is what gives us our contribution, gives us 18 naira contribution for thoughts. While for tal, we have 240 naira to be subtracted from 275 naira. That gives us a contribution of 35 naira. So here, 18 naira for thoughts and 35 naira for tal. So a reasonable divisional manager will definitely produce thoughts. So having established that, oh, we are supposed to be producing thoughts and not tal. So it means that for every single unit of tal that we produce, we'll be unable to produce thoughts, which is the main thing we are supposed to produce. And for that, we'll be losing that 18 naira contribution on thoughts. Now remember that ideal transfer price usually considers opportunity cost. So for me to produce one of tal, it means that one, I'll first of all spend a variable cost of 240 naira, and at the same time, I will lose a contribution of 80 naira on thoughts. So in that case, I will add that opportunity cost, which is the 80 naira I'm losing on thoughts, to the variable cost. So now our ideal transfer price will be 240 naira plus the 80 naira opportunity cost, and then we get 320 naira as the ideal transfer price. And that goes our 7 marks. That goes our 7 marks. I think that's all for this question. They said discuss two methods that can be used to perform. This is going to be our next topic, divisional performance. Definitely our next topic. So yeah, we are done with this question, and okay, let me give a 10 minutes space. I've not been able to check the chat box for questions. Okay. So if you have a question, kindly raise up your hand now so that I can entertain your question. Okay. Chikodi edit or edits. Your hand has been up for a while. You have a question? Oh, she's gone. Morolake, you can go on with your question. If you have a question on YouTube, kindly drop it as a chat. Morolake is gone too. Okay. Cardinal account.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, can you please re-explain the B and the C? I didn't really get your explanation. The B, rather. I got the C, the B.
You got the C, but not the B. Okay.
Yes.
It is March, July 2020. Question, I think that's questions 6. Is it question 6? Or question 5, March, July 2020. So to answer your question, the B parts. Okay, let me share my screen again. So the B part said, what should be the optimal transfer price if they expect production capacity in Western Division? It's as simple as it can be. Since if you go through the material, when I was giving you conditions that you can have to determine your optimal transfer price, I mentioned that you can have production external market price. I mean, you can have an external market, or sorry, the first one is when there is no external market. The second one is when there is an external market but no production limitation, and the third one is when there is an external market with production limitation. So in this case now, we are dealing with when there is no external market, because they said TAL is only sold to the Eastern Division. So that means there is no external market for TAL. So and the ideal transfer price when there is no external market has to be a negotiated price, and the minimum variable, the minimum transfer price is going to be our variable cost. So the transfer price can be negotiated, but the minimum will be 240 naira. That was what I explained. So not sure. Am I able to answer your question? Aki Morolake, your hand was
Yes,
up
sir.
before I
Yeah.
disappeared.
Please, can you help us go through question C again, please?
To save
Thank
time,
you.
I will recommend that you just go over the video after the class. It's being recorded and you can always access it on YouTube. It took
Okay, thank you.
Denuga Ayomide.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, the material. I just joined the group yesterday. So, and WhatsApp, the message that was sent before you joined, there's no way you would be able to see the message.
Okay,
Please, can you reshare the
that
material? Thank you.
that will be shared after the class. Thank you. All right, let's move on to another question. For those asking me to go through B and C again, please just go through the video after the class. So let's save time. Let me pick another question. Okay. Now, there's also another thing I would like to bring to our notice, that though some question might look like transfer pricing, but the question is not asking you to calculate transfer price. I mean, they are just asking you to do the basic computing profits. More like the first one that I was going to solve earlier, the Ezeabunafo, what's the name? When a question says calculate the transfer price or what is the ideal transfer price, I mean, that's when we say, yeah, we are dealing with a transfer pricing question. But in a situation where you have been given the transfer price already, and the questioner say, what is the profit if this happen? Just know that you are to do the basic computing of profit or loss statements, or whatever the case may be. So you don't need to be doing all this. Is there market? Do we have external market? Do we not have external market? All those ones are are not your concern in that case. You only check, is there external market, is there production limitation, blah blah blah, when you are told to calculate the transfer price. And secondly, you can be the and there's another condition where you'll be told to calculate transfer price, and at the same time you will still not need all these conditions. That is when you are dealing with the residual income, which we will treat better in the next class. I can see two questions already on that type of question where they say calculate the transfer price per unit, the division, blah blah blah, should quote in order, okay, in order that its budgeted residual income target will be achieved. Now, I will give an extent. That one is a format. You are following a format and not all these explanations that we've been doing since I think last 2 weeks now. So you just have to be able to identify when you are really expected to calculate transfer pricing following, calculate the ideal transfer prices. So it's all boils down to how you are able to interpret question, which I believe you should be able to if you are calm. PM can be tricky, but at the same time, it can be very simple. So I'm still trying to get this other question. I'll just keeping those in as by the way. And also, I think there was another thing I was going to say on this same transfer pricing. But okay, okay. Now this looks very, very interesting. Is in fact just like the one we did. Just like the one we did. I'm sending it to the group now. So you can take that one as a practice question. It's almost the same thing as the one we did, but there was an additional information. I mean, that's where your work comes in. Check how to factor in that bit of information to it while it's looking for all these questions. I mean, when I need them, they disappear. It's better busy. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, okay. I think I will do what I don't want to do before. Last year question. Now it's there. It's as much as I can. All right. Let's go through full the whatever. So somebody should confirm if my screen is up.
Your screen is not up.
Not yet. Okay, it's up now.
Okay, now
Okay. I mean, this is last year question. I mean, this very last diet. And on a serious note, transfer pricing is on a streak of three diets, three consecutive diets. I mean, I can see November 23, May 24, November 24. So there's no guarantee that it will stop, though. So let's read through the question together. We have followed Jesus, whatever the name is a company located in Onisha, which manufactures motorcycles. The company has two divisions, the engine division and the assembly division. The engine division manufactures and sells a standard engine as used by the motorcycle. The engine division supplies the manufactured engine to both assembly division and external division. One of our conditions has been ascertained. That is, they have an external market. There's an external market. So we've noted that. Now, the following information is available for the period in respect of engine division. So they have a capacity of just 100. Our two conditions are now satisfied. It means that one, there's an external market. Two, there's production limitation. So you have the selling price, you have the variable cost, you have the fixed cost. And they said the assembly division of the company can use the engine in the manufacture of motorcycle. The assembly division currently purchases 10 motorcycle engine at a cost of 58,000 per engine. Now, I says, if the engine division is selling all that it can manufacture to outside customer in the intermediate market and 6,000 variable cost per engine can be avoided on transfers within the company due to reduced selling cost. What is the acceptable range, if any, for the transfer price between the two divisions? I mean, this should be as clear as possible. What is the ideal transfer price range? Like I have always mentioned, ideal transfer price range is simply the price, the variable cost of the selling division to the market price available to the buying division. That is simply our ideal transfer price range. So in this question, I mean, I'm particular about YouTube this time around. In this question, what is our ideal transfer price range? So drop it in the chat box and let's see. And I'm waiting for those on YouTube this time. Oh, you can't see my screen question. Oh, okay. This is that. There's this. Okay. I don't think I've seen any response, both on YouTube and on Google Meet. Oh, God. Why is it taking so long? Oh, we are not getting this thing. Can someone confirm that you can hear me to start with?
Yes,
Okay,
sir, I can
okay.
hear you.
We can hear you, but can't see your screen.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah,
Your
I
screen.
dropped my screen. The variable cost 32,000. Yeah, Michael, just go on with your question if you have a question. I'm trying to share the question to the group for those that say they cannot see my screen. Michael, you have a question? Yeah, I think
Limit yourself.
okay, I think everybody should have the question now. So yeah, I've seen your answers, but at this point, I think we we need to be paying more attention. Now my screen is back up, by the way. So now the thing is, I told you that the ideal transfer price should be within the variable costs and the market price available to the buying division. So the second one is very, very clear because they told you that the assembly division currently purchases 10 motorcycle engine at a cost of 5,000 naira per engine. So obviously, the assembly division will not want to buy it at a price. The assembly division will not want to buy it at a price higher than this from you. Yeah, of course, you can sell your own at 60,000 naira to the external market, but the assembly division, they don't care. Since I can get it 58,000 externally, I'm paying that 58,000 naira to you. That's the maximum. And the minimum, I said, should be within the variable cost. Yes, 32,000 is the variable cost. But the question went further to say that we can save extra 6,000. That is, if we decide to sell to the internal guy, we'll be saving 6,000. It means that our variable cost is no longer 32,000. So our variable cost will now be 32,000 minus the 6,000 we are saving. We are not paying for selling costs again. So in that case, our new variable cost will now be 32,000 minus 6,000, which is 26,000. So our ideal transfer price range will now be from 26,000 to 58,000. Now let me see if anybody got that. Yeah, okay. I can see somebody. Somebody got that. Yeah, it is not 60,000. It is not 32,000. Always pay rapt attention to the question. No, I can't hide anything anywhere. So I did transfer price during tribute from 26,000 to 58,000. And there goes the 2 marks. Now again, they said if the engine division has ample idle capacity to
So
handle
I have
all
a
assembly.
I have a question
How
on
we
this
attend to
AI.
how attend
On
to
this
you when
AI.
Allow him to finish first now.
so the B says that if the engine division has ample idle capacity to handle all assembly divisions rates, what is the acceptable range, if any, for the transfer prices between the two divisions? And they said, oh, we have idle capacity now to handle all of assembly divisions need. Now, what is the acceptable range, if any, for the transfer price between the two divisions. Sorry. So basically, the A and the B, they're just saying the same thing. We have idle capacity to accept, but in this case, the answer is as simple as it can be. The answer here is our variable cost. Sorry. I mentioned that there is absolutely no reason for the selling division to make profit on items or goods or the capacity that he has no external market for. I mean, that's something that you naturally will not have made any profit if you are selling it, if you are just producing it. So since you have that capacity, you have the idle time, you have the idle capacity to produce as much as the assembly division needs. So you would have been redundant if you are not producing for assembly division in the first place. So in that case, the ideal transfer price will be our variable cost. If you remember in the last class, or in the last class and the first one too, when we are dealing with demand capacity, after we've exhausted the external demand, we say whatsoever is left, you sell it to the internal guy at variable cost because you have no external demand for it. I'm not sure I have that one anywhere near, but you can only just refer to the last example that we did. Let me try and remember the capacity. I'm not sure I do. I think the capacity was 75, the external demand was 35, internal demand was 45,000. Yeah. So when we deducted 45,000 from 75,000, there was an extra capacity of 25,000, and that 25,000 was transferred at the variable cost. So exactly the same thing here. Once you hear they have idle capacity or they have free capacity, then you are transferring at your variable cost. That is for 2. And then the third one said, if the engine division is selling all that it can produce to outside customer. So in that case, they are saying that this time we don't have any idle capacity. Everything that we are producing is going out. We are selling everything to the external party. So if that is the case, now what is the acceptable range, if any, for the transfer prices between the two divisions? So if you ask me, there is no ideal transfer price range in this situation. Why? Because remember, we said the ideal transfer price range should be between the variable costs and the market price available to the external party, which we said should be between 26,000 to 58,000. But this time around, this guy, the engine division, can sell everything that is producing to an external market at 60,000. So why should I do an ideal transfer price of 58,000, which is even the maximum ideal transfer price? So in this case, you will say, how do you answer this question? You say there is no ideal transfer price, as the company will be better off if the selling division, I mean the engine division, is selling the whole product externally at 60,000, while hold on, no, okay, this is just for A. So what am I saying? They should sell the whole product externally 60,000, while the assembly division should buy from 58,000. So in that case, the company is gaining extra 2,000. So you sell at 60,000, and on the other end, you buy it back at 58,000. Of course, you are getting extra 2,000 naira profit. rather than selling to the assembly division at 58,000. So that would be our ideal transfer price. So that is why this if any clause is important. They said if there is any, but there is no acceptable range here. The acceptable range should have been 26,000 to 58,000. But there is an opportunity to sell above the maximum, which is you can sell at 60,000 rather than 58,000. So in that case, it is advisable that the engine division sells all its products to the external market at 60,000, while the assembly division buys from the what do you call it? From the external party at 58,000. So that is also how to answer this question. So they said, explain the concept of environmental management accounting. Oh, this one is another topic entirely. This is towards, I think chapter 31 or so. This is just a by the way one. So yeah, if you have any question on this one again, kindly raise up your hand. I think somebody mentioned that they have a question earlier. I was not able to get your name. But if you have a question, kindly raise up.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is based on from this AI required AI. They said that if the engineering division is selling all that it can manufacture to outside customer in the immediate market, and 6,000 variable costs per engine can be avoided on transfers within the company due to the reduced selling cost. What is the acceptable range, if any, for the transfer price between the two divisions? Okay, look at the question now, because they said that the selling price to external customer in the immediate market is 6,000. From my own understanding now, I'm seeing my answer to this now is the 60,000 is the transfer price, the acceptable range, because they said that for outside customers, not internal, and they could avoid the 6,000 naira variable cost. But you told us that the acceptable range now is 32 minus 32,000 naira variable cost minus 6,000. I thought this one is for internal. What you told us on this was for internal, but this place they said that external customer.
I don't think I understand your question actually. Can you please recap? I'm
Okay,
not sure I get it.
okay, the required AI. They said that
The first one.
if the engineering division is selling all it can manufacture to outsider, they could avoid the 6,000 naira variable cost.
Okay.
They can avoid on the selling price to external customer in the immediate market is 60,000. I thought the answer should be 60,000 because it's for external customers.
Oh. Oh, so you are saying we should consider the 60,000 instead of the variable costs?
Yes, sir, because they said that the 6,000 naira variable cost can be avoided.
Yeah, I get your point. I get your point. I mean, if we are treating it that way, not sure we will have been correct, but I'm not sure we'll be wrong either too. But the thing is, you see this 60,000 in whatever price you are using, either you are using the variable cost of the or the market price, you have to deduct this 6,000 because it's a cost savings. So if I'm picking the normal ideal transfer price, which should be the 32,000, I have to subtract this 60,000 as a cost savings. That one is compulsory. You must. So that's why I did 32,000 minus 6,000, and I got 26,000 to 58,000. Now, the one you are saying that we should we should use this 60,000. I mean, that's because of this clause that it can if it is selling all its manufactured to an outside customer. I mean, that would have been correct actually. If we use 60,000 less 6,000, and then we get a 54,000 transfer price range. But conventionally, I think the ideal transfer price is always our variable cost to the market price. I mean, it's a range. But let me check this again. This clause is making it a little bit confusing. Why it's manufacturers? Okay, sorry, if it's the engine selling or it's manufactured. Yeah, let's stick to the ideal one that we know. The variable costs to the market price available to the site. I know the 58,000 is the maximum, but the minimum can either be the 54,000, which is 60,000 minus 6,000, or the 32,000 minus 6,000. But I will still stick to the 32,000 minus 6,000, simply because you can always the minimum according to all ideal transfer price should be your variable cost. That is the minimum. So, and I don't see anywhere we are told to consider opportunity cost at this point. So let's still stick to the 32,000 the 26,000 to 60,000. But in either of the situation, this 6,000 must be deducted. It's a must.
Thank you, sir.
Michael, you have a question? Michael Chimamanda. I don't think she is.
Yes, I have a question. I have a question. My question is in that number, the AII. Like, I don't really capture what you're trying to say, because it's from the AII that you moved on to the III said, that's number 3. So I wasn't able to capture what you were saying. I don't know if you can recap.
Sorry. The AII, that's the one that asks
if the engine, yes,
if they have an idle capacity.
Yes, like how are we able to, like, the way you were saying it, I didn't want to stop you because I don't know how to say it, but I think there was said how to calculate the ID capacity. We were just trying to discuss the question, so I didn't get it, and it's from that place that you move on to the next one. So I will just have to wait until the answer for questions.
I mean, I mentioned that when you have idle capacity, it's just ideal. The ideal transfer price range is usually your variable cost. I mean, that's even the ideal transfer price, your variable cost. But if you want to put it in range, it's still the same thing as what we did in the first question. Your range should be within your variable cost to the market price available. So ideally, still be within that 26,000. Oh, sorry. This question B did not tell us that there's a 6,000 naira cost savings. You don't use that to treat question 2. So it's just 32,000 to 58,000, and that's our answer. That's as easy as it can be. So I don't think I'm seeing any other hand up. Or does anybody have any other question? Anybody on YouTube? Okay, so in a scenario where the selling division can offer all it can produce to the external, shouldn't the transfer price B plus variable plus opportunity cost? Yes, I mentioned it earlier that we could have considered the opportunity cost. But I was looking at the fact that sorry, let me reach the question again. Okay. Now, if you consider this first question and the third question, oh, sorry, my screen is even down. So, answering Mashu on YouTube. Now, if you consider this first question, you just said if the engine division is selling all it can manufacture to outside customer, of course, this situation alone will justify it if we decide to go with the opportunity costs. If we decide we go, but if you remember, when we are dealing with opportunity costs, okay, since this is oil, I'm still looking for a better justification for me to use the opportunity costs. Okay. Okay. I mean, you can use the opportunity costs too. If you add the opportunity costs, that will still bring us back to the 54,000. Well, let me I will get back on this. Just somebody should just remind me on this particular one, if we are to use opportunity cost or not. But ideally, I mean, I don't think you can be wrong if you don't use the opportunity cost, and I don't think you will be wrong if you use the opportunity cost too anyway. But the fact that they mentioned an intermediate market, yeah, you can use the opportunity cost, and I can also decide to ignore to go for my normal ideal transfer price rate. But I will definitely give a feedback on the better one to do. Either to always consider opportunity cost or you ignore except it is specifically mentioned. So yeah, does anybody have any other question? Can we solve one more question tonight? Let me
Yes,
see.
good.
Let me see. Let me find another close one. I mean, all these ones we treat them under divisional performance. Okay, the topic I was trying to remember before was limiting factor, where you choose the products to produce based on the one with the highest contribution. Limiting factor. So have you done limiting factor in many of the classes?
Yes, yes, we are done with that.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, you have done it.
Okay, good. What is this? Okay. Right. November 2024. Happy birthday. Sorry. 2024. Okay. This is also on residual income. I mean, this is 3 already on residual income. Wow. I don't know the best of this frequently. Makes it interesting. Really, really interesting. This is also on residual income. It has 4 questions on residual income. Just wow. Just okay. I think we've solved all the ones I can see on basic, not basic per se, like pure transfer pricing. Other ones are what do I call it? They are just like profits, or let me say they are linked with other questions, I mean other topics. So they are not purely transfer pricing question. Okay, this was the one I sent to the group. The Ukachi and Sons. I thought, yeah, did I send it to all the group? Please confirm you have the Ukachi and Sons question that I sent earlier. Please check your WhatsApp group if you have the Ukachi and Son question I sent earlier.
No, it's not in group 3.
Okay, that means I only sent it to group 1 then. All right, I will forward it back. I'll send it to other groups. And yeah, like I mentioned, I don't think I can find any other question on transfer pricing. The other ones I have to explain. We have to explain other topics before we are able to, I mean, tackle those questions. Or else we have to just be doing by the way explanation, which will take more of our time. Not sure I've seen any. I can find anyone. I mean, that's like 5 questions already that we treated on or that we talked about under transfer pricing. Yeah, I think we're good for transfer pricing. So I don't know. I want to find a way for us to be having our classes twice in a week. But seems like the timetable is jam-packed or something. Or do we have a general consensus on what day can we fix for classes? Does anybody have any suggestion that we can throw to the whole class?
Sundown Monday is nice. Just for
I
me,
think
or others can
I think you
suggest.
can fix a date. I think you can fix a date that you are
Sorry,
more
sorry,
convenient. So
sorry,
we
please
adjust
let me
our
just.
time. I think you can fix a date that you are more convenient so that we can adjust our timetable accordingly.
Yeah, I noticed on Sunday you usually have PMs on Sunday. I noticed that. Okay. Maybe Saturday evening or Saturday night. I don't know. But I will just do a poll just like I did in the last class. I mean, majority we decide again. So yeah, sorry. Like I mentioned, I cannot find any other question that has to do with pure transfer pricing here. So in these notes, if you have any other question on transfer pricing, I think this is now the best time to ask. I mean, and if you are good, you might as well just call it a class, right?
Okay, so I have a question. Actually, not of this. What we eat today. It was what we
Okay.
eat today on our transfer pricing.
All right.
The topic that has to do with the questions that has to do with X and Y group of companies where we were asked to that one that has to do with determining the transfer price for 5,000 and 15,000 components, 19,000 components, and 5,000 components. I don't know if you remember the one.
Yeah, I do.
Yes. So when I was trying to go through it, I even wanted to DM you, but telling me to just ask now. When I was going through it, I noticed that when we are computing the profit for division X, with the 3,000 naira that went all through, like the 15,000 naira times 200, that's the external cost price, the 15,000 naira. I was noticing that in under column 90,000 naira, we still use the same 15,000 naira, and we still use the same 15,000 naira on column 35. I just want to know why, because I thought we had to compute every external sales according to the company which was demanded from them.
Yeah, I think the thing is now, if you check the question clearly, I think it was Division X. Division X has a maximum capacity that they can produce. They can only produce 35,000, if I'm very correct. I think, yeah, they can produce 35,000. That was their capacity. And the internal guy wants 20,000. I mean, Division Y wants 20,000. You know that no matter what the external party wants, you can only sell what is left after you've sold 20,000. Right? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So exactly, that was what happened. So when the external party, when they wanted 15,000, you know, we have a capacity of 35. Y wants 20,000. Of course, we have 15,000 left, right?
Yes.
We are able to satisfy the external party because yes, they also want 15,000 and we also have 15,000 spare capacity. So it was very easy. Now that the external party wants 19,000, the internal demand still remains 20,000, right?
Yes.
So if you still remove this 20,000 from our same capacity of 35,000, we still have only 15,000 to sell to the external party.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we are still selling that same 15,000. So the same thing applies to when the demand was 35,000. We have a capacity of 35. The internal demand is 20,000. Once we answer them, we still have only 15,000 left. Though the external party wants 35, we can only sell what we have, which is still the same 15,000. And that is why it is the same or true. Welcome. I don't see any other hands up. And yeah, I don't know if you've been trying to reach me. I mean, I've been trying my best to answer questions. I mean, I've really been. But if you've been trying to reach me on either of my numbers and I've not been responding, you can just drop a call. I mean, just a single call. It will be easier for me to, in case I miss your message or I read it and I was going, probably I was busy when I read it with the intention of replying later and I was unable to, maybe due to the fact that I forgot or something. So if you have any pending question that you sent to me that I have not responded, just call me just once. I mean, if I miss the message, I will not miss the call. So I will be able to relate that, oh, I have a question that I'm yet to. I'm just saying this for those that I oftentimes miss their question or something. So yeah, that will be all from now for now. And on Saturday, by God's grace, I'll be treating divisional performance. And of course, we have to touch back transfer pricing a bit because we have some questions. Oh, Sulaiman Balogun, you have your hands up. But let me just quickly make these comments. So we'll be coming back for transfer pricing because we have a question. We have a lot of questions actually. I can see like 4 already that links transfer pricing and divisional performance together. And I don't want us to solve those questions without having a full knowledge of what the two topics are. So yeah, Sulaiman Balogun, you have your hands up. And for others, we can call it a night. I wish everyone a great night rest.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay, I don't think so. That Balogun is aware that his hand is up. But, all right.
Good evening.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank
good
you very
evening.
much, sir. Good
Thank
night,
you, sir.
sir.
Thank
I think
you.
your question regarding the transfer price. I have a different question regarding it. So, I think it's a bit different from the way others have been. But this one has a sales cost of sales, profit, direct materials, and co. So, but the
What's the name of
question
the question?
requires Abuja Industries.
Abuja.
Yeah. If you check your
Abuja.
WhatsApp, I sent it to your personal message. Yeah.
Sorry, what
Check
year
your
is the
WhatsApp.
question? Did you just
I
send it
really
now?
don't. Yes, I just sent it now.
Now. I
Yeah.
don't think I have a message. I don't have the message. I've not seen it.
I've dropped.
Okay. I think I just got it now. I don't think this is this an icon question? I doubt it. I doubt this is an icon pass question, but and the question is also not okay.
Should I mute your mic? Your phone is bad.
It's a very long question. Okay, you know what? I will discuss it with you on WhatsApp, and I will share the solution to both the question and the solution to the class group. I will forward the two. So just for those that will be interested. Please do well to remind me, not this night, because I don't think I'll be able to solve it this night again. So just remind me, maybe what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Maybe on Thursday. All right. Thank you very much. So yeah, thanks to everyone. For now.